And we are back for another episode of USATF's Journey to Gold Zone podcast. I'm your host, Eric Kennard, along with my co-host,
Wallace Spearman Jr., baby.
We are excited to have the Noah Lyles here with us. Noah, how you feel?
Feeling good, feeling great.
It's
Excited
hard
to
not
be
to,
here.
huh?
He said, yeah, it's very hard not to. You know, in this beautiful weather here we got in the Bahamas, the wind is blowing. It's not too hot. It's not too cold. It's just right.
That's right. So the track season is underway, obviously. You've been able to drop a few times in the 100 meters. And just talk to us a little bit about Paris 24. Obviously, got the trials coming up in about, 7 weeks, 6.5 weeks?
Yeah, somewhere around there. I usually don't even try to think about it all that much. I remember the last Olympic season, you know, I was thinking about it like almost all the time. It's like, oh, I only got this many weeks to be prepared. And it's like, no, this year it's like we're going to take it week by week. You know, this week I'm focusing on this. You know, this week we're going to go to this meet and we're going to focus on my start. This week we're going to go to this meet and we're just going to focus on acceleration. Like here, you know, we're at World Relays. This is how I'm preparing to like get my top end at 100%. That's what I love about relays. You get to work that fly zone so well.
Yeah. You've been working a few flies. We saw you fly a little bit last night. So track meets. I hear you've been making a little transition from athlete / entertainment personality / promoter / businessman a little bit.
Yeah.
Are you starting to take a deeper dive in interest as the climate for athletics is changing into the actual business functions and structure of what a track and field competition looks like?
I've definitely had my interests overall be, you know, not just on the track. I believe for stories and entertainment to happen at its highest and marketing to happen at its highest, you have to be involved in all parts. And I like to do my research. I like to study. I like to figure out what's going on. I don't want to just be an athlete and just run. That's where I get bored. Like I like to touch different avenues, and that includes, putting on a great track meet. What do you need to put on a great track meet? You got to market. What else do you need? You need good athletes. What else do you need? You need to make sure everything's running smoothly. You got to be in touch with the managers. You got to have that little bit of entertainment that nobody's having at other places. That I enjoy putting all that stuff together.
Yeah, and it's quite cumbersome. It's a lot of work. You are able to not necessarily split your passion, but in a sense, pour your passion, for the sport into all these different sectors. There have been some big announcements lately as it relates to the sports space. And I know the Atlanta City Games is somewhere that you're looking to showcase your promotional prowess a little bit as it relates to marketing and also just evaluating how to help the competition grow. Talk to me a little bit about that.
Yeah, I'd say there's 3 meets right now that I have a pretty decent hand in developing, trying to get bigger and bigger. And the first one is Atlanta City Games for sure. Really getting into a situation where we have a lot of freedom. We're not as tied down with rights and what we can't do. It's kind of almost like a blank sheet of paper. What can we do? We're, even if this only happens once, let's go for it. Let's try it out. Definitely getting the walk-ins going, planning how we're going to have the athletes enter onto the track. I don't want it to be a situation where people come out and you're just kind of looking at everybody from a high elevation. I'm telling my agent, let's almost split the crowd, when we have the athletes coming through for the finals, almost part in the Red Sea and have the athletes walk through. So in a situation where they were looking up, now you're looking beside yourself and like, oh my gosh, I'm almost in touching distance of my favorite athlete. Like now that's a moment.
Yeah, because usually you have to go to the audience and you want to bring the audience make it a little more
intimate.
Exactly.
Make the audience a part of the moment instead of having to always think of, I hope that the athletes make a moment just by running.
Yeah. Now, a lot of your contemporaries and predecessors and even the audience don't know, that you're that savvy, right? As it relates to that, they just think it's, hey, he's stepping on the track. He's just running fast and running around screaming and hollering. But you're actually, one of few athletes who's actually, willing to volunteer his time, volunteer his intellect into making the sport better outside of just affecting athletic performance. And I think that's huge.
I appreciate that. I just see it as a situation where I want the sport to survive. I want the sport to grow. I want to see the best. And I want to be in a situation where when I leave the sport and if I have a kid and they want to come do track, it's going to be better than when I was there.
Right.
Because if it's not, I'm going to have to say, you know what, let's go somewhere else.
Let's go play soccer.
Let's go play golf, tennis, somewhere it might be a little more lucrative.
Yeah, and so, I think that is that speaks volumes to your character and integrity, that you're willing to be at the top of the podium and the totem pole, so to speak, in a sport that sees so much diversity and financial backing, and be able to, really be invested in not only being a half, but also, spreading wealth and spreading opportunity.
I appreciate that. Wallace, you kind of quiet today. I ain't gonna lie.
I'm over here debating if I want to ask you these questions or not. So.
Oh gosh, are they that bad or that good?
I don't know. You want to play the game you want to see?
I like games.
All right. So I know you are well versed in culture and what happens in the community, etc. So let's check the music culture. So you've seen this Drake, this Kendrick Lamar,
okay.
J. Cole. You've seen these little battles going on, right?
The beef. Yeah, the beef.
You been paying attention?
Yeah, I've been paying attention. I was just having a pretty deep conversation actually with the Great Britain team at breakfast today.
All right. Okay. So go ahead and say this. This started last year in Budapest. We did some interviews there. There were some words that were said. And then, indoors, I thought you ran a great leg on the 4x4. I thought you did a phenomenal job stepping up when they called on you to actually run the 4x4. But then, there were some interviews that, were conducted and some things that were said on social media as well. I feel like we have our own version of J. Cole, Drake, and Kendrick going on right now. My only question is, if you were to put yourself in that rap beef, who would you be? Which artist would you be?
I'm Kendrick, man.
You Kendrick?
I'm Kendrick.
I like that.
I'm Kendrick,
He
bro.
didn't even hesitate either.
Nah. I know I'm Kendrick. I know for sure.
Well, with that being said, I'll just be honest with you. I mean, we hope to get you back on. I'm glad you joined us again. How do you manage what happens on the track versus what happens on social media? There's a lot of sprinters that watch and they critique what you do.
Yeah.
They think they can do what you do, and it's not. You're 1-over-1 if you ask me. So, how do you manage that?
I'm gonna tell a quick story to kind of kick this off, but my mom watched the last podcast we did, and she saw the greedy clip, and because I was like, "What's wrong with being greedy?" So she calls and he's like, greedy is it's a sin, and it's not it's really not good to be greedy,
sorry.
and it's like, Mom, did you watch the whole thing? No, I just watched the clip. Okay, so you've fallen for the exact same thing as everybody else out there.
Right.
You fall for the clickbait. I'd expect more from my mom.
Right. Go watch. Come on, man.
It's like, come on. Like it's a play. It's using sarcasm. But apparently, sarcasm's a little too strong. So I gotta tone it back a little bit. But at the end of the day, that you can't control how people view that stuff. And on one hand, it is my job to say it in a way that is, understandable. But there's some people who don't want to understand. And that's not my job to fix your opinion. Everybody's entitled to their own opinion. And, with that, I'm going to say my name's still in your mouth, though.
And that's why I say one thing I do admire. Everybody has a job here. We have a relay coach, and their job is to pick the best people who are ready for that moment. And your job is to make sure you're ready when they shoot that gun and cross that line first. And I feel like 100, 200, 400, you've already stated, I will be ready for whatever distance needs to be contested.
Yeah, I mean, I'm a guy who's here. I'm here to win, and anytime that I can, do it for my country and do it for my team, I'm gonna do it. If they don't need me, I've said it many times. Cool. If you do, I'm always gonna be here.
Yeah. Now speaking of that, how do you? Somebody as accomplished as you, right? How do you sustain motivation outside of comparing yourself to the things you've accomplished, right? I mean, numbers are limiting. Mm-hmm. Records are limiting. Mm-hmm. And from what I can understand about you, you don't believe in living in the limitations of those things, right? And that's why you have all these different impacts in the sport. How do you stay motivated?
There's many different ways that I stay motivated, but if we want to keep it to track, I'll move it over to outside of track, but specifically the track. We were having the Mount Rushmore conversation in my group a few weeks ago. And personally, I haven't put myself on that Mount Rushmore yet. And if I'm saying that, that means that I know the job's not done.
Exactly. So who is on that Mount Rushmore then?
Personally, it's gonna go. This is the sprints only. This is 400 down.
Okay.
I'm putting Michael Johnson on it.
Mm-hmm.
I'm putting Usain Bolt on it. I'm gonna put Carl Lewis on it.
Yourself.
No, I don't believe it's myself yet. Not yet.
Okay,
Not yet.
Okay.
I don't believe it's myself. To be honest, we'll probably have to give it to like Jesse Owens.
Oh, I like that. I like that.
I need a female version too, just so you don't get
Female
canceled.
version for just the sprints.
You gotta put FloJo, huh?
You can put her on there.
Okay, I got FloJo on mine.
Who
Let me
you
not speak
said,
for you.
Flojo?
Yeah.
I'm gonna go
ahead.
Shelly.
Okay.
I'm gonna go Shelly.
I like that.
For sure. It is hard because the Jamaican dominance that's happening right now, I don't want it to cloud my judgment, but it's so dominant. I feel that Shelly has done a great job of doing back-to-back 10-6s, back-to-back world championships, 2 Olympic gold medals in the 100. And Elaine has done the same. So I think I'm going to have to put Elaine on there as well.
2 more. You know they're going to drag you if you don't put no Americans on here, right? I know you don't care.
I want to put Felix on there, but she only has 1 gold medal, and she doesn't have a world record. Because now we're getting to the conversation of, you need a world record, and you need at least 1 gold medal at the Olympics.
I like the justification. I think that just cleared up a
This
lot
is
of.
not the first time he's thought about this.
You got. I'm gonna have to put FloJo on there.
Okay.
For sure. I'm gonna have to put FloJo on there. It's the last one is really hard. The last one is always hard because now there's a lot of people who've done similar things now. So it can almost come to a personal choice now.
So it's almost a bit more competitive on the female side than the male side.
It definitely seems a lot more competitive. And I feel that's just because of what's happened recently. I'll tell you what. If Sharika wins a gold medal in the 200 meters this year at the Olympics, she would be on my Mount Rushmore.
Cartoons and anime, can we get a two-face? Can we get half of somebody's face and half of somebody else's face? Or is that going too far? Around Mount Rushmore. Can we get half?
Throw a fifth one up there.
Can we get
fifth one? They carved the new section.
I'm like, look, can we get half of Sharika and half of Allison?
If we're throwing a fifth one on, then yes, I will throw Allison on there.
All right, thank you. We can't leave AF
because
off
she racks up the medals.
That was one of my heroes, man.
Up the medals.
Indeed.
I gotta put Sonya on there too, just so I don't get canceled personally later.
And she 50-50 too. You know what I mean?
Exactly.
She little, So if you could choose to compete in a generation or against a generation of athletes, right? Because we talked a little bit about, hey, okay, you got a fantasy team, a fantasy relay. Who would be on there? Would you actually like to compete against any of those people from any of these past generations?
I'd like to compete against all of them, personally. I definitely wanted to race against Bolt at least one time in my career, because I feel that we have a very similar mindset when it comes to racing and when it comes to competing and when it comes to entertaining. And to be able to see each other go up against each other, I feel that it would have brought the best out of both of us. And it's not going to be a situation where I feel either of us would be intimidated by the other. I feel that we would get excited every time we see each other's name on the list to race against each other. Michael Johnson, he has that dog eat dog mentality, and he trains with it too. I feel that again it would be very similar. I've seen the videos of him and Maurice Green, go back and forth during U.S. championships. Like, yeah, I want to be in those conversations too. And it's crazy because at the time that was the mentality that was raised, but it's very different now. I feel it's so polarizing to the point of there's a group on one side that says we want more trash talk and they're all for it, but on the exact opposite side there's a group that says you need to be more humble. There's no middle ground.
Yeah. I'm one who cared nothing about what the audience had to say about what was going on stage, because they definitely weren't auditioning or practicing for any of those same performances.
Yeah.
So,
The
you
man
know,
in the
so
ring.
I understand that.
The man in the ring.
So how do you balance and why do you feel like it's that way? Like, because you talked about your mom, right? She gave you a little of the criticism, like, hey, you know, greed, you know, will destroy us all in a sense. How do you balance that? Do you feel like social media actually plays a part in, and do you actually evaluate, like, do you say some stuff and he's like, you know what, maybe I was bugging?
I've definitely said some stuff that I'm like, I probably could have phrased that better.
Yeah.
All the time. You know, sometimes, you know, your emotions just get in the way
Yeah.
and you're like, oh shoot, let me get into it. But yeah, I've definitely said, of course, I've said some things that I wish I could elaborate on. But then I also remember that sometimes people are just going to hear what they want to hear.
Yeah, oh, for sure.
Some people are just not going to like you.
Yeah.
And you got to accept that.
And then also, you know, delusions of grandeur come with greatness, right? Like, you know, like you're a high school phenom, right? You didn't go to college. You know, you've been doing this. You know, that's not a criticism. It's just you were that good, right?
Yeah.
Like, so you're able to just develop and without the NCAA system, where, you know, I'm sure my first Olympic trials was 08. And I remember being out there at 17 and everybody's looking like, man, you tripping. You know what I mean? Like,
Yeah. Like, we
your
took this
dreams,
guy?
yeah, your dreams are too big, you know, in a sense. Like, you know, we took this guy over this guy, et cetera. But then when you do it, and you talked about, you know, having a blank canvas mentality, which I think is extremely important, especially when you're evaluating, you know, dreams and, you know, goals. So how do you manage and review those expectations? Like, even when they pop in your own head, because I know you've thrown some numbers out there.
Yeah.
As it relates to, you know, especially the Deuce, and folks look at you like, what is he? What extracurricular activities he participating in outside of training?
No, I get that, because look, the way that I view it is, if you can't tell me what I did for practice yesterday, then why should I care about your opinions when it comes to how fast I can run? I don't throw out numbers randomly. They are out there because I've seen some inkling of data that shows that I have the potential to do it. There is a confidence that I've said, oh, I'm seeing numbers back to back to back. Okay, this should happen. And maybe God just put it on my heart. And I got to say, I'm going to go out there and I'm going to get it because God put it on my heart. So now I'm telling my coach, you know, this is what I want to do. You know, what do I have to accomplish in practice to be able to see this number on the track?
How do you feel about that, though, right now? I mean, going into this year, you have the purists and you have the old heads who watch the sport, and, you know, they critique from their vantage point. They're going to say what they say. I respect you and yours because you do it your way and you're not really worried about it. But say everyone knows, or if they don't know, they will after today. We share the coach.
Yeah.
So going into that, old head mentality. I need to see fireworks before Olympic trials. I need to see a clear-cut win. Somebody needs to go drop 9.7 just so I can get excited. That hasn't happened. I'm about to say people have won races, and they've been great times. They've been great performances under, you know, various conditions. But right now, like, I haven't seen someone who just looks like they've separated themselves. So, but to your point, I know you've done some things in practice that'll let you know I'm confident enough I can go into a race and work on my start. I can go into a race and work on my finish or my transition. So, you know, what's it looking like for you right now this year?
Yeah, I look at it two ways in terms of, you know, why we might not be seeing anybody popping off, to say. I mean, a few of us came off of indoor season. So that means that we had to go directly back into training, hard training, me included. 5 weeks of intense training. And that's like, my body is sore. And I tell my coach, he says, good, get back on the line every day. I'm in the weight room. I'm putting up maxes. I'm, you know, going back to back to back. Like, I'm not giving time for my body to rest and recover to say, oh, let's now see the fruit of the labor that you've been putting in. You know, we have this kid named Udodi. He's from Nigeria, and he, you know, signed with Adidas, so he's training with us today. Incredible talent. So much to work on, but incredible talent. And we're having practice, and we're doing 180s and 150s, and, you know, we're both putting up really fast times for April. And I'm telling him, bro, you're gonna run very fast. Like, you're gonna PR. His PR is like 19.7. You're definitely gonna break that easily this year. But don't go out to your next meet thinking that that's gonna happen then. because it takes at least, at the very minimum, 3 weeks for your body to see the results of the great practice that you had. And that's if you rested and recover starting today. But the thing is, we don't care about 3 weeks. We care about 7 weeks, 8 weeks, 10, 12 weeks down the line.
Train for medals, don't necessarily train for times then.
Exactly.
All right, we've been asking everybody this question, and I'm actually
Okay.
very curious to see. I'm going to just go ahead and give you a heads up, because if you
Oh.
don't say this, I would actually be shocked. Christian Coleman, that's the name I'm going to say before I actually pose the question. Call it a preamble if you like. You ready?
Okay.
All right. You get to race with any American who's ever ran track and field from any era.
Oh,
So
I've
you
seen
exactly.
his,
So now you have to compile a 4x1, including yourself. Tell us who runs and who runs what leg. Where would you put him? What does it look like?
I liked Christian's answer. Putting him on first. I feel like there's never been a greater starter for a relay than Christian. I think Usain Bolt should run the second leg.
Nah, you gotta have
No,
all
All
Americans.
Americans.
All
All
Americans.
Oh, this is all American.
All Americans,
It's
yeah.
you and all
Oh,
You
Americans.
have to be on there too.
Then we'll put Justin on second.
Okay.
Can Maurice run a turn? Dang, I gotta think about that. Can Maurice run a turn? I need to go do some research on that. I know he can run a 200, but I don't know how great his turn is. I feel like he should be able to run a turn, a really good turn. I think I'm gonna put Maurice Green
Okay.
on third, and then I'm gonna finish that thing.
So who you said you or no? Sorry, Christian.
Christian
to Gat
to get.
to Maurice
Yeah.
to you.
Yeah,
All right. I'll take that.
Yeah.
What time do you think y'all run?
break a world record. As long as the handoffs are good.
I like that. I like that for
I
sure.
like that too.
And I'm about saying Eric
we
touched
ever
on
asked you yours. So.
who me?
Yeah, what is yours?
Yeah, what would you do? I don't think we ever reviewed.
Oh, I got another question too.
would you do?
Follow up before we get there. If I took the top 200 currently competing Americans, the top 200 meter runners versus the top 100 meter runners, who wins the 4x1?
So I'm running the 200, right?
Yes, man.
I'm in the 200 group.
Yes,
I mean,
man.
I'm the world champion in both, so
No, man.
I don't get to choose. I don't get the coin flip.
I'm not biased, but I'm extremely
You
biased.
said that the 200 was your baby and the 100
It is my
Exactly.
baby.
You do.
You're right. It is my baby. Okay, so right now.
Right
Okay,
now,
so
today.
let me think who that's gonna be me, and Courtney, Ariane, Kenny versus Christian, Fred. Yeah, 200. 200.
Yeah, we
Man,
gonna have to.
y'all can have Trayvon, Marvin, who else they got?
Because I feel like Courtney would pop that thing off.
Brandon Carnes, whoever they need.
Yeah, Courtney would pop it off. Kenny can run second. Ariane can run third, and I'll run last.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's us. That's
And y'all
us.
might run 36.
Yeah, might.
I think y'all
Will.
could. Well, handoffs, but
Yeah, handoffs. You're
great
right. you're
handoffs.
right.
I think y'all can run
That's really what it
36.
comes down to. Handoffs.
I agree.
All
I
right.
agree.
We need yours.
Yeah, what's yours, man?
Man,
Both,
just to be different.
Both too.
Just to be
4x1
different.
and
4x1,
2x1.
just to be different. I'm putting Tyson on first leg. I'm putting Tyson on first. He ran
I mean, he's a great first.
typically third. Trust me, I know I ran with him since I was 19. So I got you.
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You're right. You're right. Go ahead.
I'm putting
go ahead.
Tyson
Yeah.
on first. I'm hoping he matches up with Christian. I think he can.
Hopes. Come on.
Hey, man, I'm just saying.
I mean,
You just said he's the, or if
I
not
do
one
believe
of.
he is the greatest. I mean, that doesn't mean that he can't be beat.
There we
That's
go.
just my belief.
I'm putting me on second versus Gat. I like my odds.
I do too, actually.
I like my odds. If I'm going third leg, then I'm just gonna be honest with you. I'm actually really intrigued by Arian's third leg.
Yeah, I saw it with my own two
You
eyes.
talk about it back at Florida Relays, right?
I saw it
Yep.
with my own two eyes. So
And then just because we all train in the group and we're almost keeping it in one group, I'm putting Noah on anchor leg. And I think we run 36.7 or 36.6.
So what I'm hearing is I'm a popular guy for last leg.
Yes, I like it. I know Fred's gonna be mad at me and Trayvon and whoever else, but I'm sorry.
okay, so the
I like
200
this
group
yours.
versus the
4x2
100.
all day. I'm about to say I'm biased as it can be. I don't give a
You're
dang.
taking the 200 group.
And I don't and this is gonna get me canceled. And I'm not trying to be controversial. Text me, don't go on social media. I don't think it's gonna be close.
Yeah, not even close.
I legitimately don't think it's close. But let's
right,
fast forward. Eric already brought this up. Let's talk about the future. He talked about what you did whenever you were in high school. Have you noticed any talent in high school, or have you noticed any runners, any guy back at your eye on?
We've had two high schoolers drop 9 seconds on the Claremont track, and one of them dropped it on my head.
Wait, what?
Last year, bro.
Oh, yeah.
I got 9 seconds dropped on my head by a high schooler.
He dropped it.
I watched.
Yeah.
I thought
And
he
then
meant this
there's
year. That's
another
why I was
kid.
confused.
I think his first name is Justin. Don't quote me on that. But he came and dropped the 9 seconds on Claremont as well. So if you're a high schooler and you want to run 9 seconds, you need to come to the Claremont Classic.
What about any other events?
But I mean, Quincy, what a talent.
Wilson.
Quincy Wilson, yeah, what a talent. Gosh, I mean, I've had the honor. Like, I know his coach because his coach went to the same college as my parents. So, and I actually knew his coach when I was in high school. And Bullis has had a strong program since I want to say like 2017, back when Masai Russell was there. And they've, just been on a tear for the last few years. They're definitely in their season for running and sprints. But still getting a talent like Quincy, and you can obviously look at him and see, yeah, you ain't in the weight room. You not, I wouldn't say doing anything like professional level.
He's natural talent.
Exactly.
Right
It looks very natural talent. And I love his energy. The man said he wants to go and make the Olympic team. Yeah.
Right.
That's what I want to hear.
That's what he's supposed to want to do.
Exactly.
Right.
You're supposed to want to be able to make the Olympic team. You're supposed to want to reach for the highest heights. And he's going out there every time and proving it. I mean, the man dropping 44 3 splits and 44 6 splits. Like, I know what it's like to run at pin relays. I mean, we used to do the 4x4 in the morning, run the 4x1 Championship of America, and then come back and run the 4x4 Championship of America. And I was only splitting 45-4. This man running 44-3. Like, what the heck?
And he ran a really decent 800. He ran a really
exactly.
decent 800.
I mean, he's going from like the 8. I think he's even run a 1,000 before or something like that. And it was fast. When I look at him, I'm like, yo, this is literally a blank slate. And this blank slate got a lot of talent and a lot of ambition. Let him run.
So that's one of the ones where you think he could actually be the future. He's not, and I'm about to say, unfortunately, we do have kids who run early, really fast. This is not your case, or Allison Felix. I can continue to go down the road of athletes who compete and run very fast in high school, and then they don't quite pan out as a pro. You think he's the real deal?
I think in talent-wise, he's the real deal. Now, what happens environmentally, I can't predict, because something that's way different than when I was running is these NILs. And I just saw that he signed with a management company for NIL deals as well. So he's probably getting more. That's a different type of pressure.
I'm about to say, we have another, we have actually, not myself, 2 young athletes who competed very well at a young age. We always told Eric he was a very old soul in a young body.
Yeah, I've been known to kick a little ass out there in my day.
Tell him. But yeah.
I have another question for you. We talked a little bit about the business functions and transcending sport. Who and what type of company and or sponsor would you like to see invest in the space leading into Los Angeles Games and, the Olympics coming up on home soil? I think a lot of American Olympic athletes have especially shared the notion that, yes, we feel the support from our nation, but we would like to see a lot more financial support and backing from, we have a lot of American companies, great American companies out there, right? And we have the opportunity, obviously, to travel and compete internationally. And you see the support that other countries garner from, different companies. So who would you like to see? If you could pick any company, say, hey, man, come and throw the logo on the uniform or, or invest, who would you like to see?
Now, I might get in some trouble.
No, I don't want you to get in no
with
trouble.
With this
I
answer.
don't want you to get in no
but
trouble.
I'm going to pose both sides. So I'm actually sponsored by Comcast.
Okay.
So I'm going to give both sides. I would personally like to see the Olympics held in Orlando, Florida, at Universal or at Disney.
That would be dope.
Okay. That'd
The
be
amount
That would be
of
cool.
money that would be thrown in at one of those locations would be so high because they already have the money to build a facility. We have oceans on either side of Florida. You have a great airport. It's already a tourist destination. You have the facilities and the infrastructure to be able to hold a level at that height. And then, again, being able to, they have common areas. They can easily, if you can't get to the actual venue, you can go to the park, and they have, City Walk, and they have Disney Springs. You can just watch there.
Yeah, just traffic.
It's
traffic,
literally almost like the perfect spot to be for the biggest sporting event.
Right.
Hold on, wait. These thoughts and ideas are copyrighted by Noah Lyles, IOC. Any ideas that you heard here today that you decide to actually use in your planning, you need to pay him some royalties. Thank you. Okay.
Disney, right? So how soon, obviously the Olympics is every 4 years, we understand that, but would you want to see a test event, something take place? I mean, we talked a little bit about, your imagination and your savvy and acumen as it relates to, saying, hey, we need to do this right now, at the U.S. Championships or at the Atlanta, City Games or et cetera. Like, how soon is too soon to say, hey, Disney,
Universal.
we want a Universal.
Yeah, because right now Universal is in control.
Exactly.
And that's not a problem. That's a huge benefit. I mean, with it coming to the U.S., I mean, it's London. I mean, the L.A. got the bid, so technically they can't move everything over. But just being able to say that now, I mean, if we have another World Championships
or U.S. Championship,
and it comes back to the U.S., let's go to Orlando.
Great start.
Yeah.
Let's build that track. I mean, Nike dumped money into the Oregon track. Why can't we do that at Universal or at Disney? Disney already has their Wild World of Sports. We can do the same thing at Universal as well, and they have the land, they have the people. Everybody already comes to Orlando for as big sporting events as it is. Yeah. It's not that crazy to say, hey, here's another avenue.
Okay. What's the other side of that coin? You said that might be the controversial side.
Well, the controversial side is I represent Comcast.
Okay. Yeah. So come back to Universal. You'd like to see them in. Anybody else?
I'd say I want to see some type of luxury brand.
Bentley.
You said what?
Bentley.
A Bentley.
Tom Ford.
A Tom Ford, a Rolls Royce. Omega is, I want to see them do more. Like, yeah, they already have, the timing pieces, but, let's see another one. Let's see fashion come into the true aspect of the Olympics. And then, of course, let's get paid. That'd be nice.
Nice. He's going to kill me for this one, Preamble. Man, look, when I first raced you, we first met, whatever the case may be, you were the baby of the group. I saw you like 2 days ago, and I was like, Noah, you got some gray hair?
Yeah.
Come on, man. Are you a young vet right now? What's happening?
I got some gray hairs. But I've had these since I was like 21.
They were just hidden well then.
Yeah. I mean, the one in the beard wasn't there.
You out there using that kit. Using that kit.
Rick Ross. That could be a sponsorship.
Yeah, get to Beijing.
Maybe.
Jet Black.
Oh.
To be honest, my dad grayed very early. Yeah. So it's kind of in the genes, unfortunately.
But you've already been gray, though.
Yeah, like I said, I've dyed the hair gray.
Yeah.
All that stuff.
I remember that. You're right. You have been complimented by some old vets that are actually here at the meet. And it kind of shocked me. So, speaking outside of my...
Shocked you that I got complimented?
No, it's just
like, what was... Now I need a little bit of context.
Exactly,
why was I being complimented?
Perfect. So this is what I'll say. A lot of people, whenever they retire from the sport, they don't actually tune into the sport and see. They don't keep up with current events. So you impressed Lauren Williams, I'll tell you that. And she said, and I quote, I'm actually very impressed with Noah. I said, why? He stays with the team. He's very supportive of his teammates. He doesn't pull the whole, I have money, I'm going to ride in my own car and get a bougie room. And no, you see him actually being a great teammate, a great leader. So I wanted to give you credit or kudos for that. Exactly.
By the way, never been team captain. I'd like to one day be team captain of Team USA. That'd be nice.
So we'll start there. And then the second thing, some of the old vets were talking about, we would like to see where these athletes would like to compete. And I know you just touched on Universal. So they feel like there are great markets around the U.S. that are untapped.
Mm-hmm.
And who better to actually help us engage with those companies than our current stars that we have right now?
Yeah.
So outside of Universal, are there any destinations in the U.S. that, you thought about? Maybe Hawaii has a meet, or maybe Chicago has a meet, or...
I mean, the craziest thing is we've had so many great areas that are made for, competition, celebration, getting an environment made that is maybe just pure hype. I mean, at the end of the day, sometimes all you need is a little bit of clout to get the ball rolling. It doesn't always have to be about times. If you go to Miami, that's a clout city. You go to LA, that's a clout city. You go to Las Vegas, that's a clout city. These clout cities kickstart a lot of projects. If you look at F1, I believe when they got bought out back in I think it was around 2012, 2010, somewhere around then, it was like a $9 billion company. It got bought out by an American company, and they said, we're going to bring it to the U.S. Guess what you do in the U.S. marketplace? You bring it to a market. You bring it to a capitalist society. Not just that, one of probably the best ones. They are driven on marketing and how you get names out there. They know how to put everything in a tight little bow and say, here, take this. And the American society just eats it up. So now you brought this luxurious environment and say, here, to the U.S. Any chance that an American can say, oh, I'm going to this event and I look cool while I'm there, they're going to be there. They're going to be there. And I feel that track just doesn't have that. Nobody says, oh, yeah, I'm going to a track event and thinks, yeah, I'm going to this luxurious moment where I get to meet the stars and they get to shake my hands and I get to take pictures and hear them at their best. And I'm going into this lounge and this lounge is going to have the best food. And, I'm going to see other stars there. It doesn't have that. Sometimes you need that clout.
I'll transition into this. So I know you have the Lyles Brothers Foundation.
Mm.
And I'm saying I love the events that you all do. You, your brother, your mom, you're just the whole family and how you all come together for that.
I appreciate it.
As far as, when you retire, have you put any thought into what you're going to do after you finish running?
Yeah, I have quite a few ideas. One of them is very similar to Michael Johnson and finding that league that I feel will give athletes more power for themselves to be able to run and not have to rely on one source of income. Another one is starting my own production company.
Okay.
Like
because
movies,
if Flow Track
things.
can do it, so can I.
Okay, hey, talk about it.
You got to have the
You heard it here
rights
first.
to your own film. And when you gain the rights, you can do what you want with it. That is definitely what I have learned over the past 4 years.
But like I was saying, though, we appreciate you always, not only your contributions to the sport on the track, but your contributions off the track. Not everybody is always willing to, make the impact that they can make. Everybody's looking to be, a stone throw, in a bucket and not, a stone throw in the ocean. And I appreciate you just like Wallace said, he touched on, we spoke at breakfast, obviously, a few days ago. And I was like, people complaining about the food. You like, man, it's not that bad. We got to do what we got to do.
We're here to do a job.
We're here to do a job. You kind of always not only staying true to you, but also being a beacon and staying true to the progress and the betterment of the sport that you love. And so I definitely appreciate that and appreciate you for joining us for another episode.
I really appreciate that, man.
Sure.
And thanks for having the podcast, guys. Giving athletes the time to speak their minds, that's priceless.